Live from Las Vegas, Nevada, it's WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. With your host, the dazzling and talented Sandy Kastel. WIMA is a non-profit organization comprised of dynamic, influential women in the performing, visual, and literary arts, dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. For the next 60 minutes, we'll meet local performers, painters, sculptors, singers, songwriters, musicians, comedians, dancers, authors, and more. Now, let's bring on the host. Here is Sandy Kastel.
Welcome to Women in Music and Arts. This is your host, Sandy Kastel, and we are broadcasting live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon on KLAV AM 1230 and streaming online at klav.com. My guests today are Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. Hi, Quin.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing just great.
Good. You look lovely.
Thank you.
Red is a beautiful color on you.
Thank you.
Yes. And Amy, you're back with us again.
Yes.
Nice to
here.
see you.
Thank you, Sandy.
Last week, you had an inspirational message for us, and this week we're going to get a new one from you. So I'm
Great.
looking forward to hearing more about that. Our show is being brought to you by members of Women in Music and Arts, empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. You can learn more about Women in Music and Arts, our monthly mixers, music events, art shows, workshops, seminars, and community outreach programs by going to our website, WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA International.com, where you can become a member, become a sponsor, or donate to the WIMA Scholarship Fund. Every week, Women in Music and Arts is bringing you an inspirational message from Amy Frost, who is a coach, life manager, triage specialist, keynote speaker, and trainer. She is the National Training Director and Corporate Consciousness Officer for the nonprofitsectorfoundation.org. That's nonprofitsectorfoundation.org. She has an MBA and MA in spiritual psychology, and she is also the author of When Work Isn't Working and Drawing Boundaries with Grace. Her CD, Thriving at Work, Visualizations for People in the Real World, is available on her website at amyfrost.com. That's amyfrost.com. Amy, last week you told us about centering in chaos. Mm-hmm. This week, what is your message for us?
The message is about being an entrepreneur and using that with your art. So I'm very excited to help artists really think more entrepreneurially. I think a lot of them do, but I really want to help them. So I have a quote from Working for Good I'd like to read.
Please, thank you.
It's entrepreneurs of meaning. Business is a creative and therefore spiritual endeavor. Great entrepreneurs enter the field of business in the same way great artists enter the field of art. With their business creation, entrepreneurs express their spiritual desire for self-realization, evolutionary passion for self-fulfillment, and create a vision of a new world. The entrepreneur's business is their art. The creation of business is as creative as any creation in art. In fact, building a business may be the most creative human activity. And that's from Working for Good, and that's what I want to help artists do.
That's great, Amy. If you're just tuning in now, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts every Wednesday at noon here on KLAV, and you can also hear us at klav1230am.com. So, I also have in the studio with us today Quin Rivers. Quin Rivers is a poet. She was born Quincella Alita Genevieve Rivers and is a native of Gary, Indiana. She relocated to Las Vegas in 1979 and has a Bachelor of Arts degree in social work, a minor in Spanish and linguistics. She attained a master's in social work from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas in 1994. Miss Rivers has worked at the Clark County Juvenile Court Services, Family and Youth Services, and Department of Family Services as a juvenile detention counselor, juvenile probation officer, and an investigator with the Division of Child Protective Services. Her professional career as a social worker expanded over 25 years, and she retired in 2007. Wow, Quin, that's a lot of working with the court system, with the juveniles. How did you get involved in that?
Well, it's somewhat started when I was in high school. someone came to the school talking about careers and what have you, and then during the time that I was attending Indiana University, they had a work program, and during that summer, I ended up working at the Lake County Department of Public Welfare. So from that, it just seemed like I just decided to stay into the helping profession.
Well, that's wonderful. And I know that you're a poet also. That's how I first met you when you
Yes.
joined WIMA a few months ago.
Yes. I had attended a fundraiser, and I met Ann Parente. And Ann was talking when she was recruiting members, and so I said, well, I write poetry. We were standing in line waiting for our cars. And she gave me her card and said, look on the website. And I looked on the website, and it was very interesting. It really caught my eye. And I said, well, maybe this is a way that it would be nice to meet other people who are involved in the arts and have that creative hunger about them. So I joined, and then I attended the first mixer, and it just took off from there. And then in April, I did my first showcase,
Yes.
which was very interesting. I was nervous as all, but I guess I did okay. So now I'm here today.
Well, you didn't seem nervous at all. That was at our mixer over at Urban Ranch.
Yes.
Yes. And you told us one of your poems. You read one of your poems, actually a couple of your poems from your body of work.
Yes.
And we were all just captivated by you, and continue to be, not only by what you're bringing to WIMA and Women in Music and Arts with your passion about helping juveniles and adults pursue their dreams, but also by your passion that comes forth in your poems. And I know you wrote one especially for Women in Music and Arts, and I don't know if you're ready now to read that for our listening
yes,
audience.
I did bring that one with
You
me
did?
today.
Okay.
This one is called Women of WIMA. The women of WIMA are on the go. Music and art is their soul. They have traveled many paths, far and near. The beat of different drummers they often hear. The women of WIMA are on the go. Music and art is their soul. Singing jazz, rhythms, and blues, dancers with their dancing shoes. The spirit of music floating in the air. Women of WIMA have so much flair. The women of WIMA are on the go. Music and art is their soul. Poet speaks from the heart. Artists paint and display their art. Fashion designers flaunt their styles. Sculptures mold plaster into smiles. Authors busy writing books. Photographers attempt to capture that certain look. Interior designers provide a room with a view. Colors on the wall are just for you. Creating minds working together. Women of WIMA are here forever. Women of WIMA are on the go. Music and art is their soul.
Woo-hoo-hoo! I love that. That is so beautiful, Quin. Thank you so much.
I was really motivated to write that after I became part of Women of WIMA, and I said, I need to write something, that represents the women of WIMA, and that's what I felt when I wrote that one.
Well, I think that really does represent WIMA. And if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, every Wednesday at noon on KLAV 1230 live from Las Vegas. My guests for this show today are Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. And that was Quin Rivers reading her poem to us about women in music and arts. Amy, you have been, you are on our advisory board for Women in Music and Arts, and you are also involved in another organization that helps bring profits and nonprofits together. That's the nonprofitsector.org. And could you tell us a little bit about that?
The mission of the Nonprofit Sector Foundation is to help people who help. I think that's the bottom line. And so we support nonprofits, and we also love profits. And we had our mixer. We have quarterly mixers. We had our mixer on Friday night, and it was so much joy. Thank you for being there. That was really fantastic that you were there.
That was great.
It was so much fun. We were at the Ganesha Center, and you guys have an upcoming one at the Ganesha Center also.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's next Thursday. We're going to have our WIMA mixer there on the 21st.
And it's a great place that's relaxed and calm, and the music and the art are, such a great place to have all that come together. And I think it was so great. We encourage people to set an intention of what they want to do, who they want to collaborate with, what actions do they want to create. And Sharon, I don't know if you met Sharon, she's with
Yes.
the estate and aging programs, and they do free workshops for people that are in chronic pain and other things. And so she really wanted to make sure to get facilities to do them at, and people, that she could help. And so I challenged her to get as many as she could. And oh my goodness, she won the grand prize.
Oh, she did.
She got the most connections, and she got the most action steps. So we're very proud of Sharon.
Well, that's good. That's good. It was nice. I got to meet several people. In fact, David Osmond, who
Yes.
we're going to team up with as an organization. They have the Nevada Youth Alliance.
Yes.
And they have an event this Saturday at the Boulevard Mall. It's going to be jazz. They've got a jazz artist playing there, and they're going to have an MC, and it should be wonderful. We're looking forward to teaming up with their organization.
And they have an event tonight from 6 to 8 at Tivoli Square. Or
Oh,
Village.
that's right. They have the
Yeah,
the
we'll have a
band
booth
playing.
there. The foundation will have a booth there.
Okay, great.
And I can have WIMA stuff there if you
Okay.
throw some at me.
All
I'll have
right,
it at our
good,
booth.
Good. Well, Tivoli Square is actually this beautiful place. That's right out. Is that at Brio, or is it in
Yeah,
the
well, it's over towards where the stage is.
where the stage is?
And they
Okay.
have a jazz band there.
Okay.
And it's fabulous.
Okay.
You're outside, you feel like you're in Italy. It's really nice.
Okay, so what time is that?
It's 6 to 8 tonight.
6 to 8. Well, guess where I'm going to be?
Yay! Oh, come play with us. Bring brochures, bring everything. We'll get some more members.
I will. Well, listen, I think we're going to take a station break and talk with one of our sponsors. Hear my voice where you are. Take a train, steal a car, hop a freight, grab a star, come back to me. Catch a plane.
Make a difference with WIMA, Women in Music and Arts. WIMA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And becoming a member is easy. Log on to WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA, WIMA, international.com. Or call 702-240-2930. 702-240-2930. The benefits of membership are many. There are empowering women workshops, monthly WIMA mixers at different locations, art shows, songwriter showcases, big band performances, poetry readings, and so much more. And membership starts at just $25. Log on now to WIMAinternational.com or call 702-240-2930. That's 702-240-2930. WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
I'm Dolly Coulter.
And this is Bert Anderson. Join us Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. for the Women in Music and Arts children's radio show featuring Bixby's Tales.
We'll take you on adventures all around the world with our wonderful roving reporters, Joey and Henry.
And don't forget about me. I'm Bixby. I'm their dog.
Oh, Bixby, we could never forget about you. So don't forget, come and join us every Saturday morning at 9:30. We're going to take you on the adventures of a lifetime.
Are you tired of your old job? Are you starting over? Are you looking for a new career? Join Sandy Kastel, Amy Kardashian, and Eric Johnson for Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. As a former Miss Nevada recording artist and author, Sandy Kastel will show you how to tune out negative influences and follow your dream. In her informational Don't Tell Me I Can, she'll also give a sneak preview of her new album, Indiana Rain. Motivational speaker and author of Tears of Hope, Amy Kardashian, will help you stay focused on your new project. And Eric Johnson will wrap up the day with his tried and true method for finishing your project. It's Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. Learn more about Empowering Women Workshops at empoweringwomenworkshops.com. This Tuesday night at 6, join recording artist Sandy Kastel for Jazz and Cocktails, an intimate look into the world of jazz. Sandy's guests will include musicians, singers, songwriters, club owners, and jazz aficionados. Whether you're driving in traffic or just relaxing at home, tune in and enjoy an eclectic mix of jazz styles with Sandy Kastel. It's Jazz and Cocktails, Tuesday nights at 6. Now, let's return to WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Here again is your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hello, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts, and I'm your host, Sandy Kastel, and we are live from Las Vegas on KLAV 1230 AM radio every Wednesday at noon. My guests today are Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. Quin, that was a beautiful poem that you read about women in music and arts. I just love the fact that you tied together all of the different arts that we have in our group and beyond, and what it all means, and the history of women in music and arts is important. You, at a young age, you were involved in dance also.
Yes, that's
So you were also in the chorus, and you were in the madrigal singers all through high school, and you sang a cappella. I did that too. Wasn't that fun? Our group was called the Madrigals. What was your a cappella group?
It was the Madrigals.
It was the Madrigals also.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, you loved to write, and you were keeping a diary from the age of 11, and it says at that time you were secretly writing down your feelings, which evolved later into poetry. And now you're writing poetry, and you plan to publish your poems. Easy for me to say. Mm-hmm. You also take ballroom dancing, and you're competing, and you love the arts, and it's all ingrained in your heart and soul. So are you still dancing? Are you still singing? Are you keeping those arts alive in your life too?
I'm still dancing. At one point in time, I was taking flamenco dancing.
Oh.
And I've been doing the ballroom competition. I had a competition in this past December. I didn't do as well as I wanted to do, but I had surgery and on my arch, so I did not get an opportunity to really rehearse and practice as much as I should have at that time. And I love the social dance, and I love to go to salsa and merengue and all the Latin dances. I was in the dance troupe in high school and what have you. I was a cheerleader, so we had to take dance. Instead of going to physical education, we went that hour to dance and worked out on the ballet bar and all of those good things.
Well, there is a lot of dance involved in cheerleading
these days. It was a lot of dance,
yes.
And it was just a way to move your body, you know, and what have you. The singing, I've been preparing for audition with the celebrity chorus here, which is a barbershop group of ladies.
That's an
and
a
they
cappella
sing
group,
a cappella,
right.
yes. So you have to audition. So I haven't been to a couple rehearsals because I've been out of town, but I do plan to do that because I love to sing. My first experience doing that, I remember when I was in the 7th grade. I had this music teacher in school, and she was giving assignments on what we were going to, our parts where we was practicing for preparing for a spring festival. So she said, Quinchella, you will sing Ave Maria. And so I'm sitting there with my little girlfriend, we like looking, I can't sing that song. Well, you better tell her after school. So after class, I went up to her and I said, Mrs. Penn, I can't sing that song. She said, what song? I said, Ave Maria. And she looked at me. She said, young lady, I don't ever want to hear you tell me what you cannot do. You be back in this auditorium at 3:15 after class. So I left there, and my little friend waiting outside the door. What did she say? What did she say? So that's what I said. Well, I told her if she really wanted me to sing that song, I would sing it. So naturally, I had to make myself look like I was in power. But from that experience, it gave me some confidence that if you really wanted to do something, then you could. Because as I mentioned that time when I did the showcase, I have a 85% hearing impairment, which has affected my speech. So I've always been self-conscious about having the speech impediment. So when I was younger, a lot of times the kids would tease me, so you talk like a baby, or I would mispronounce a word because I wasn't hearing the words the same as they were.
Mm-hmm.
So I began to keep the diary, as I spoke about, and I was writing down my thoughts. And sometimes I would be angry with somebody or I would be hurt, and those were the things that would go into my diary.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started notice sometimes when I would write certain words down, another word would come to me that would rhyme. So then it was kind of like I started writing it in a poetry form, you know. And it was a release mechanism for me. And now, at this time, I'm still a little self-conscious about my speech impediment, but now I feel I have something to say, and I want to share it with others.
Well, I'm glad you're sharing it with others because you're an inspiration to people out there who feel shy about being out there with any kind of impediment or a handicap or feeling that they can't go forward and do something. And I think that's one of the things that is good about Women in Music and Arts, that we want to help everyone get out there and follow their passion. No matter what limitations they feel they may have, or that somebody else has put upon them that they feel that they can't go out there and do something, we want to break those barriers in them and help them to go out and pursue their passion. So I'm so grateful that you're a part of our organization. And if you're tuning in right now, our listening audience, you are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230, live from Las Vegas, every Wednesday at noon. And my guests today are Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. Now, Amy, you just read something for us a little while ago about inspiring artists to go out there and
be
entrepreneurs. And it is kind of a challenge sometimes for us artistic types because we get that left brain, right thing happening. And sometimes, as I feel, I know a little bit about a lot of things, and I know enough to get me into trouble. Because,
but you do it so well.
I try. But it's so easy to get caught up when we are, as artists, or when we're passionate about something. If you're sculpting, I mean, you can be there for hours. If I'm playing on the piano, I can just get lost for hours. And I'm sure, as Quin will attest, I'm sure that even when writing poetry or even going to dance and practicing, we can get lost in that. And it's a different part of us. It comes from deep inside, and it's just so satisfying when we do it.
Right.
But then, if we want to get our art out to the public, we have to have a website, and we have to do the social networking, and we have to have a business plan, and that's where some of us get into trouble. So how can you help us? Please help us.
Well, Lisa Lynn, she's a world-renowned Celtic harpist, and she and I met at the City of Hope and started doing work together. And she totally created her own career. She from the time she was really young, she said, I wrote my own fairy tale, literally. She would sit down and write, this is how I want things to go. And one of the things she always said to me, and she still continues to, she said, find people who are doing it right and help them do it better. So, maybe you don't need to have a website. Maybe you dovetail on somebody else's website.
Ah.
Maybe you don't need to know about social media. Maybe you find somebody who's really good, so you help them in their cause. It's like with Lisa she started, how can I take my art and find a way to get it into culture? So she one of the things, she's so many great things, it's lisalyn.com. One of the things she did, she created this song of lullabies. And through her work with City of Hope, we worked with cancer patients, doing workshops for them, really fabulous work. Well, they, of course, loved her, and every Tuesday she'd have a workshop in the lobby at the City of Hope.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, and bring in people, and it was really a fabulous program. And so she creates this CD of lullabies, and now Kaiser, through all her connections, she does a lot of speaking and performing in the cancer arena at all kinds of concerts and conferences. So now they buy hundreds of her baby CD, Kaiser does, every month to give to women who just had a baby.
Oh, my gosh.
So they
fabulous.
market it. She doesn't need to market that. You're right. She just sells it to them. That's just one idea.
That's great.
So it's like about don't get yourself all freaked out about I have to be knowledgeable in this and that and the other. It's like, no, you have to be really good at what you do, and you need to find partners that within an organization. I talked about being entrepreneurs, which are people who are, they're fire starters. They make things happen, but they need detailed people.
Yes.
They need people that can that are good at that. So
Yes.
everybody needs to do, 100% what they're really good at, and so you partner up with the right people, but it's finding people who are doing it really well, and you help them do it better. Don't partner up with people who don't know what the heck they're doing, because you're all going to be lost in the forest together, which may be fun. But
for a while.
For a while.
Till you run out of food.
So, and lots of examples about that. And last, I'd like to talk about entrepreneurs, which are people who have an entrepreneurial spirit and do it within the context of an organization.
Okay.
Like for me, I was a contract negotiator for the Department of Defense, but I had this calling to do some writing. I had contracts that were 1,000 pages. That was some really boring stuff. That was not a lot of fun writing. So I thought, there was a newsletter, the Missileer. And so I went to them and said, I think somebody needs to help us with like ethics and different things. And they said, you want to write an article? I'm like, oh crap. And I was like, okay, you want to have a column? Okay.
Oh,
So it became part of my job. And so it wasn't separate. And so that's what when you think entrepreneurially and you do it as an entrepreneur, you do it within the context of an organization. And then we talk about, Courtney, the president of the foundation, about non-entrepreneurs. And my friend, you are definitely an entrepreneur. And as a person that has that entrepreneurial spirit and takes it into the nonprofit world.
Okay.
Right? So
Yes.
and you're a perfect example of that. And so that spirit, that entrepreneurial spirit, can be out there by yourself, your own business. It can be within the context of a bigger business, or it can be within the context of a nonprofit. Your art can be used. Randy Riccoboni, who's going to be speaking next week, he has a book that's going to be a bestseller. They're going to take it to bestseller, and about really the same kind of idea, the big picture, and how to survive as an artist. And one of the things he does with the nonprofit world, he created a set of cards, note cards, and a percentage of that goes to Meals on Wheels in San Diego.
Perfect.
That's an entrepreneur.
Great. And he is going to be on the show next week. That's
you're
right.
so lucky. I won't be here, but you get him. He's fabulous.
Well, thank you, Amy. If you're tuning in now, you're listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel. And we are live every Wednesday at noon on KLAV 1230 AM radio. Now we're going to take a station break for our listening audience to hear about our sponsors.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'll march my band out, I'll beat my drum. And if I'm fanned out, you'll turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, sir. I guess I didn't make it. But whether I'm a rose of sheer perfection, a freckle on the nose of life's complexion, a cinder of a shiny apple of its eye, I've gotta fly once, I've gotta try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, life is juicy, juicy, and you'll see I gotta have my bite, sir. Get ready for me, love, 'cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march my...
Hi, this is Sandy Kastel with WIMA, WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Join me every Wednesday at noon as I introduce you to the members of Women in Music and Arts, a nonprofit organization comprising of dynamic, influential women in the performing, visual, and literary arts, dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. Discover how we are making a difference by supporting the arts and providing scholarships today to develop the artists of tomorrow. Learn the tools and techniques available to develop creativity and pursue your passion with segments from our Empowering Women workshops. We will keep you informed about our upcoming WIMA mixers, art shows, performances, and community outreach programs, and let you know how you can make a difference with WIMA.
Become a member of WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, 702-240-2930. Become a member, WIMAinternational.com. Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
Are you tired of your old job? Are you starting over? Are you looking for a new career? Join Sandy Kastel, Amy Kardashian, and Eric Johnson for Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. As a former Miss Nevada recording artist and author, Sandy Kastel will show you how to tune out negative influences and follow your dream. In her informational Don't Tell Me I Can, she'll also give a sneak preview of her new album, Indiana Rain. Motivational speaker and author of Tears of Hope, Amy Kardashian, will help you stay focused on your new project. And Eric Johnson will wrap up the day with his tried and true method for finishing your project. It's Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. Learn more about Empowering Women Workshops at empoweringwomenworkshops.com. You're listening to WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts. Here again is your host, Sandy Kastel.
Hello, this is Sandy Kastel with Women in Music and Arts, and we are live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon. My guests today are Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. Quin, tell us why you believe that education is so important these days, especially.
Well, my family had always stressed the importance of getting an education. And as back in Gary, Indiana, when I was growing up, there were sometimes slogans around on the bus stop or billboards that said, "Learn today and earn tomorrow." And that slogan's really stuck in my mind. And plus, I had all family members that was encouraging me about the importance of going to school, getting an education, so you could be a well-rounded person, as well as being self-sufficient and independent, being able to take care of yourself. I have worked in the community with, nonprofit organizations as well. And if you do not have communication skills, such as good writing skills or good speaking skills, you're not going to survive in any type of arena. And education is very important, and education and the arts somewhat has a balance. In my school system, the arts was part of our education, was part of our learning tool. And I remember studying about all the famous composers like Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert. And we said, why aren't we studying about all these people? They're all dead, But it was the classical. So when I hear something, and then after I went to college studying, I used to turn on Mozart or Schubert to study by, to read. It was more relaxing than listening to maybe Motown at that particular point in time, because then I'd be up in the middle for a dancing. But then I had the exposure to Cole Porter, Duke Ellington, Count Basie. So we studied jazz, we studied rhythm and blues, we studied gospel, and it was a diversified group of music that you learned. So education and the arts broaden your horizon. It expands your horizon, expands your experiences, and open the door to new ideas and new thoughts. My first exposure was when my grandmother took me to see an opera. And I was about 4 years old. I remember we rode the South Shore train to Chicago, Illinois. And I had on my little hat and gloves and what have you. And she kept telling me that I had to act like a lady, sit quiet and, not talk, because, it was important that I would listen. So she exposed me to the arts very early. And my grandmother was an avid art, person. She loved songs, she loved dance, she loved musical, all of that. So education, we cannot do without education, and unfortunately some of our young people these days are not taking advantage of the opportunities that they have, because I feel now that they have more opportunities in getting an education than we did at one point in time.
Also, education doesn't just mean school. It also means education out there in the world, where you're going to different programs that are outside of the schools. But it's also important today, because what we're seeing is the educational system is losing a lot of the arts programs. And what I'm noticing as far as Amy and a lot of people that I know, we're trying to keep the arts viable and keep our children being able to learn the arts because we realize that it's so important. You know, if you think about it, in TV, in our day-to-day existence, everywhere we go, there's music being played. There's music in commercials. There's music in movies. There's music in all of these things. There's artwork. And yet, we're all being hit with everything that's happening on the internet, and we're having to basically almost give away our arts to some degree, and then find other things to sell to make money, to make a living, you know, by merchandising our arts. And it's really been a challenge for artists. I think it continues to be. But I think education is very important, and I know that it's been important for you to have role models.
Yes, it is. It's very important for all of us to have role models. Unfortunately, a lot of our, talented musicians and artists have passed on. And they had a lot of wealth of knowledge, a lot of talent that unfortunately I think some of our young people were not able to enjoy or not able to tap into. And so we need to find ways to keep that alive. And I think some of the ways that maybe we could do that is by sharing our knowledge through workshops and lectures or what have you, or just mentoring someone. And that's very, very important. Communication is another way. Art is a tool of communication. Some people sing, some dance, some convey their feelings and beliefs by writing. It's a way of expression, whether it's verbal or nonverbal. And all of that ties into your educational skills, your writing skills, your communication skills, and also having someone to show you or to teach you how to do that. So all of this ties in together, the education, the role models, getting the children and the youth involved as well as our community, educating them on what we have here. I did not realize there was such a wealth of talented women in this city until I joined WIMA. I was just overwhelmed. I said, oh my God, and it's a shame we're the best kept secret. And we need to get that out there,
We're getting it out there. We're getting that word out there. And Women in Music and Arts also, we have men in our organization. And the thing of it is that we have a history of what the Women in Music and Arts have done over time. There's a certain kind of influence from all people in the arts, but especially a certain kind that has come from the feminine energy, I think, with Women in Music and Arts. If you're tuning in now, you're listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, every Wednesday at noon on KLAV 1230 AM radio. Our guests today are Amy Frost and Quin Rivers. And Quin, thank you so much for expressing your feelings about how important the education is for all of our students, all of our people. And I think that there's also a way to bridge a lot of the gaps that are out there by the students being able to learn from the older people that have been in the arts and in business, so that because older people can share a lot of their knowledge, their experience. And with everything that's going on the internet, there's a lot of instant gratification that's going on right now. And a lot of kids think, hey, all I have to do is go online, man, and I'll be the next Lady Gaga. Well, it doesn't always happen that way. It's still important to develop your talents, to learn what it is. If you have a passion about something, whether it's art, singing, film, whatever it is, to educate yourself, get the experience, and hone your skills, so that when you do get that all of a sudden overnight sensation thing happening, you already have this knowledge so that you will last. Lady Gaga had been doing this a lot longer than just a few minutes. I mean, she had been doing this her whole entire life before she got recognized all of a sudden. So you have to have the skills and talent to stay up there and to stay on top when you do get the opportunities that are afforded to you. So Amy, what else would you like to share with us today about
mentoring? When you say mentoring, I've worked a lot with Youth at Risk, and I would bring people together, older people and of course the youth together. But I found that the mentors got mentored as much by the youth as the youth, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
So I think as we get to talk about social, media and those kinds of things. So I think it's really great if we can create this community of networking and mentoring, where people come together and whatever your special gift is, that you share it no matter what your age is.
That's right.
And I think that there's so much that we can learn from each other, and by creating these environments of mentorship, because I know I'm always, one step ahead of somebody and one step behind somebody.
Well, when you're teaching in your workshops, I know that as I've done some teaching also, but when you're teaching, don't you notice that somebody brings something that you may not have thought of?
All the time.
And that opens a whole new realm.
If I think I've got it all figured out, I'm really in trouble, and I think I learn every time I teach something. I learn something from the people I'm working with.
And then
time.
that gives you more information to go home and say, okay, I want to explore this. Now I want to teach this.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, it broadens your knowledge. And I think that's real important. I see that you have this little book here sitting here called
it's just kind of funny.
Karma.
Instant Karma. And one thing I think as artists and women especially, we don't take very good care of ourselves. And this is so fun. This little book, it says 8,879 ways to take care of yourself and do something fun. So let's just turn your page.
I just want to say 8,079?
8,879.
879.
Because, we're very precise here.
Of course.
You knew that, right? So just a couple. Take a child to visit a TV studio or radio studio, even better. Develop a unique interest in others' work and hobbies. Be easy to speak to. So just fun things, and I think that's so much of it. And even you can get mentored by books and by poetry, and so really opening up our mind to. My husband, he's just like, you're never not doing homework, and I'm like, because I love to learn. I just say, my one of my role models is Curious George.
Yes.
It's like, it's so exciting. You don't know what you're going to find.
Well, as a songwriter, I remember one of the things they taught us when I was back at NSAI workshops, they had song camps in Nashville, Tennessee. And one of the things that one of the teachers said is, everywhere we are, if you're sitting there and you're at a dinner table and you overhear a conversation and you might hear a line or a phrase or something that they're talking about that might trigger something for you, and you take that and you might, write that down, jot that down. They say they're never without a notepad.
Oh, no.
Of course, today we're never without our iPhones, and you can make little notes in your iPhones, and you can actually record voice.
I actually love paper.
Voice messages in those also, and you can use
paper.
There are many different ways to record our notes, but you jot down these little notes, and then you go back home, and I know you keep a file of these little tidbits, and years from now, maybe it's next year, maybe it's 3 months down the line, you're writing a song, and you remember this phrase, and you start writing a song about it, or you write a poem, or you form a class. So we learn from life, and actors are used to doing this. I mean, the actors have always been students of life. It's like, how do I be a good actor? Go out and live.
A good friend of mine, a very famous artist, I'm not going to say his name, but he always says it's 99% perspiration and 1% inspiration.
That's right.
And, how do you want to be a good writer? You write.
That's right.
Or whatever it is.
And you take your knowledge, just like a lot of good authors, they take their information from their work, maybe that they did for 20 years, and then they start writing about that. Write what you know about. Teach what you know about. We all have experiences, even housewives. I mean, I've met a lot of housewives. They say, oh, well, I'm not really talented. I don't sing and I don't dance and I don't paint. And I said, yeah, but you raised children. You had to juggle, all of the different things that happened. You had to cook. You had to create, interesting meals so that they wouldn't get bored. You had to find ways to get your children involved in projects, so that they wouldn't, be bored. So you have a wealth of information that you've learned that you can take, and you can, now that you're empty nesters and you're looking for something, talk about what it is that you've learned and share that, or go to community center and maybe help out. So there's so many opportunities, and I think that that's what Women in Music and Arts is all about. If you're just tuning in now, you're listening to Women in Music and Arts, and we are a dynamic group of women in the literary, visual, and performing arts, and we welcome you all to become a member or donate to the scholarship fund. We are interested in raising scholarships so that we can give back to the community and give back to those students that might need a little help here and there. They may need a little extra money for their books going to school. They may need a little extra help for a project that it is that they want to do. I'm your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV, and we're here every Wednesday at noons, and we're going to take a little pause to listen to one of our other sponsors.
Make a difference with WIMA, Women in Music and Arts. WIMA is a nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering artists of all ages through education and mentorship. And becoming a member is easy. Log on to WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA, W-I-M-A, international.com. Or call 702-240-2930. 702-240-2930. The benefits of membership are many. There are empowering women workshops, monthly WIMA mixers at different locations, art shows, songwriter showcases, big band performances, poetry readings, and so much more. And membership starts at just $25. Log on now to WIMAinternational.com or call 702-240-2930. That's 702-240-2930. WIMA, Women in Music and Arts, Las Vegas's #1 women's organization for scholarships in the arts.
Are you tired of your old job? Are you starting over? Are you looking for a new career? Join Sandy Kastel, Amy Kardashian, and Eric Johnson for Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. As a former Miss Nevada recording artist and author, Sandy Kastel will show you how to tune out negative influences and follow your dream. In her informational Don't Tell Me I Can, she'll also give a sneak preview of her new album, Indiana Rain. Motivational speaker and author of Tears of Hope, Amy Kardashian, will help you stay focused on your new project. And Eric Johnson will wrap up the day with his tried and true method for finishing your project. It's Empowering Women Workshops, Saturday, June 30th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Hampton Inn in Henderson. Learn more about Empowering Women Workshops at empoweringwomenworkshops.com. Providing scholarships today to develop the artists of tomorrow. This is WIMA. And here again is your host, Sandy Kastel.
You are listening to Women in Music and Arts with your host, Sandy Kastel, on KLAV 1230, live from Las Vegas every Wednesday at noon. My guests today have been Quin Rivers and Amy Frost. And we were just talking about a couple things. Quin mentioned that a couple of things where she was inspired by a movie, a line in a movie.
Okay, there was a line in the movie from this movie called Hanover Street. And Harrison Ford said, "Think of me when you drink tea." At another time, I would do that one because it's extremely a long poem.
Okay.
But there's other times when I've been inspired, like with fashions or what have you. And one of my organizations, we was doing a fundraiser called Get Your Hatitude On. And I wrote a poem about hats, and it's called Hatitude. And it goes, "Hatitude, is that you? Look in the mirror, what's in your view? An array of beautiful hats in assorted styles, colors, and hues. The artistry of the hat that you desire to own is adorned with feathers, flowers, ribbons, and glistening stones. Trendy hats come and go, but you wear them for the pleasure of your ego." Indulge in fascination. Only you know the true interpretation. Tilt your head, walk proud. Show them all you have style. Unique is the shape that frames your face. The chicness and glamour shows all of your grace. You are admired from afar. Diva girl is who you are. Elegance is the shoes, the bag, the gloves that you possess. But only the hat makes you well dressed. When you sashay into a room, your presence lingers like expensive perfume. Unleash your inhibitions if you dare. Sophisticated lady, you are rare. Razzle-dazzle is your style. The stage is set to greet your smile. As you wait for curtain call, think Vogue and stand tall. It's not about the bag. It's not about the shoes. It's not about the glove. It's all about you and your attitude.
Woohoo!
Yeah, beautiful.
I love that. I love that. Thank you. That was Quin Rivers. Now, Amy, do you have something you'd like to share at the end?
I think, the bottom line is I want everybody out there to think about their art and what they're really good at and find somebody who's doing really well and what's one way you could do a picture for them or bring a song to them or help put music to their words. So find a way that you can take your art and advance it and find a way to make a good living doing that.
That sounds good. And then we're going to meet up tonight at the Tivoli Square to listen to some music.
Jazz from 6 to 8 tonight. It's a concert to help the Nevada Alliance of Youth and other causes. So there'll be some booths there.
Okay,
WIMA will be there.
We'll see you there.
Yeah.
And then also we have our mixer coming up next week, the 21st of June, which is at the Ganesha Center, so that's between 6 and 8, and we look forward to meeting some new people out there, so please come and join us. And you have been listening to Women in Music and Arts, and I'm your host, Sandy Kastel. To learn more about Women in Music and Arts, you can go to our website at WIMAinternational.com. That's WIMA International.com. I would like to thank my guests today, Quin Rivers and Amy Frost, and you can find links and information about my guests on Women in Music and Arts website, WIMAinternational.com. Women in Music and Arts broadcast Wednesdays at noon live from Las Vegas here on KLAV AM 1230 and on the internet at KLAV1230am.com. This show will also be rebroadcast every Friday morning at 9 a.m. on VegasAllNetRadio.com. Future air dates and lineups can also be found at WIMAinternational.com. Please visit our website and learn more about Women in Music and Arts. You can become a member, you can become a sponsor, and you can donate to the WIMA Scholarship Fund. We would like for you all to remember that to pursue your dreams is a lifelong goal. To achieve them is the ultimate dream. Thank you for listening to Women in Music and Arts here on KLAV 1230 AM radio and VegasAllNetRadio.com. And here's a song for you to enjoy from my album This Time Around.
I can do is pray. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck be a lady tonight. Luck if you've ever been a lady to begin with. Luck be a lady tonight. Look how I'm longing to see how good a friend you can be. Stick with me, sister, I'm the gal that you came in with. Luck be a lady with me. A lady doesn't leave her escort. It isn't fair, it isn't nice. A lady doesn't wander all over the joint and blow on some other gal's dice. So let's keep the party polite. Never get out of my sight. Stick with me, sister, I'm the gal that you came in with. Luck be a lady tonight. have a soul. A lady would make little snake eyes at you, and I've bet my life on this road.